The crowd outside Carter Industries was still clapping when it happened. A little girl broke away from the edge of the crowd and ran straight through security, weaving between legs and briefcases like she'd been aiming for this moment her whole life. She grabbed Marcus Carter's hand. "Daddy!" The applause died. Cameras turned. Marcus knelt down, his voice low so only she could hear. "I think you've mistaken me for someone else, sweetheart." She shook her head, certain, her small hand tightening around his. "My mommy always said if I ever saw you, I'd know you." Something cracked open in his chest. A door he thought he'd sealed 6 years ago. He remembered the storm, a canceled flight, a small inn with one working generator, and a woman named Emily Dawson who talked with him until 3 a.m., like she'd known him for years. No rush, no agenda, just two people who saw each other clearly, in a way that rarely happened in his world. By morning, his father had collapsed overseas, and Marcus caught the first flight out without even leaving a proper goodbye. When he returned 3 days later, Emily was gone. No note, no number. He searched for months. He hired an investigator. Every lead went cold. Eventually, he told himself the universe had simply taken her back.
He never imagined she'd spent that same time standing in his own lobby. That night, Marcus couldn't stop thinking about the girl's eyes, his mother's eyes, staring back at him from a stranger's face. The next morning, he pulled old visitor logs, scrolling through years of routine names, until one entry stopped him cold.
E. Dawson. Denied entry. Reason. No appointment. He never gave that order. He found the receptionist who'd worked the desk back then, now retired and living 2 towns over. She remembered Emily clearly, without hesitation. "Pregnant," she said. "Sweet girl. Polite. Even after waiting so long, I felt sick watching her leave that day." Marcus asked who told her to turn Emily away. The receptionist frowned, trying to be fair to someone she didn't want to blame.
"Olivia did. Said it came from you directly." He didn't want to believe it yet. He needed more. He found an archived voicemail buried in an old server, nearly deleted by a routine cleanup years earlier.
Emily's voice, shaking, asking him to call back, just once, so she could explain something important. The message had been marked "handled" the same day it arrived. He had never heard it until now. Then came the security footage. Emily, pregnant, sitting in the lobby for 5 hours, eyes fixed on the elevator every time it opened, waiting for a man who never knew she was there. Eventually, she wiped her eyes and walked out alone into the rain. Marcus sat in silence long after the footage ended, unable to move. Then he found the letters, a dozen unopened envelopes in a forgotten storage box, postmarked over 3 years, all addressed to him in Emily's handwriting. Never delivered, never mentioned, never even acknowledged. He opened the first one. Boo-hoo. Emily had written that she still loved him, that she understood if he'd simply changed his mind, that she didn't blame him for choosing his career over a stranger from one storm-soaked night. She'd stopped waiting for a call that would never come. He hadn't changed his mind. He hadn't known any of it. He checked deleted emails next, recovered by IT after hours of digging, replies sent under his name that he never wrote, polite dismissals crafted to sound like him, then internal access logs showing who had opened Emily's file every single year since, quietly, privately, making sure the secret stayed buried. One name, over and over. Olivia. He called her into his office and set the letters on the desk without a word. She went pale the moment she saw them. "I can explain." "Then explain." She sat down slowly, hands folded tightly in her lap, unable to meet his eyes. "You were closing the biggest merger of your life, Marcus. Investors were watching every move you made. Reporters were waiting for one mistake to sink the deal. When she showed up saying she was pregnant, I convinced myself she wanted something from you. Your name, your money, your reputation. I told myself I was protecting you. So you decided for me. I told myself it was temporary, just until the merger closed, and then I'd tell you everything. But a few months turned into a year, and I didn't know how to undo it without destroying everything I'd already hidden. I never imagined it would become 6 years. I never imagined a little girl growing up without you. Boo-hoo! I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just needed you to know I never meant for it to go this far. Marcus wasn't angry, just tired and quietly devastated. You thought you were protecting my future, he said. You stole my family. She didn't argue. She resigned that afternoon and left without asking for anything in return. He found Emily's address through an old shipping record buried in the investigator's files. He drove there himself. No calls, no warning. Emily opened the door and froze. You have some nerve. You think you can just show up after 6 years? I didn't leave you, Marcus said. I never got the calls, the letters. I never knew you came to the office, that you sat in that lobby for hours. That doesn't erase 6 years, Marcus. Birthdays I celebrated alone. School events, where every other kid had 2 parents. Nights she asked why she didn't have a dad like other kids, and I had to find an answer that didn't break her heart. I did all of that alone.
I know, he said quietly. I'm not asking you to forget any of it. I just need you to know the truth. Emily studied his face for a long moment, searching for the lie she expected and not finding one. She let him in, but nothing more than that.
Lily, however, had no hesitation at all. She showed him her drawings immediately, rapid fire, barely pausing for breath. Do billionaires eat pancakes? She asked, dead serious. Marcus laughed for the first time in years. Every Sunday, actually. Good! Mommy makes the best ones, with chocolate chips shaped like eyes. Over the following weeks, Marcus showed up, not with gifts, but with time. He came to her school play and clapped louder than anyone. He learned her favorite bedtime story and read it wrong on purpose because she loved correcting him, giggling every time. He sat through a fever at 2 a.m., pressing a cool cloth to her forehead, so Emily could finally sleep through a night for once. Emily watched all of it from a careful distance, still guarded, still remembering how much she'd carried alone. But slowly, the distance began to close, not because of anything he said, but because of what he kept doing, week after week, without asking for credit or thanks. One evening, Marcus noticed a small frame on Emily's bookshelf, the same photograph Lily had described the day they met, worn soft at the edges from years of being held.
You kept it,
he said quietly. I never wanted her to think you left because you didn't care, Emily said. I wanted her to know your face before she ever knew your name. Marcus said nothing for a moment. He simply looked at the photograph, then at Emily, understanding fully, for the first time, everything she had carried alone, so their daughter would never doubt him. Later that night, Lily fell asleep against his shoulder mid-sentence, one hand still curled around his finger. Emily stood in the doorway, watching. Boo-hoo. Marcus sat perfectly still, tears sliding down quietly, careful not to wake her. Lily stirred just enough to mumble, half dreaming, Daddy, did you really find your way back? Marcus smiled, throat tight. No, he whispered. You found me. Months passed. Marcus rebuilt what mattered, quietly, without headlines or announcements. At Lily's school family day, she spotted him across the yard and ran, arms wide, curls bouncing. Daddy! Ha ha ha! He lifted her straight into his arms without a flicker of hesitation, spinning her once just to hear her laugh. Emily watched them from a few feet away, and for the first time, her smile held no guard left in it at all. The 3 of them walked out together into the afternoon light.
Marcus had built a company worth billions, but carrying his daughter on his hip, walking beside the woman he never stopped loving, he understood something simple. His greatest success was never Carter Industries. It was getting his family back.
If someone had hidden your family from you for years, do you think you could ever truly forgive them? Tell us in the comments below. If this story moved you, subscribe to this channel for more stories like this one.